Now at 9, a Delta plane crash occurred today, leaving passengers in critical condition. Find out the details of the crash.
And protesters denounced President Donald Trump today on President's Day. Discover the motives behind their movement.
Next, the Trump administration states race does not have an impact on a student's education. Find out the details of the new policy tonight.
And your next activity could be sitting in an escape room in Muncie's local area. Stay tuned to see where.
Seen a frigid school down here in Muncie. Will that continue? Find out.
Live from Ball State Unified Media, you're watching NewsLink Indiana.
Good evening. Thank you for being with us tonight. I'm Wyatt Mayer.
And I'm Amelia Winter.
At least 17 people, including a child, were injured in a crash landing at an airport in Toronto. That's according to a regional paramedic service. 2 people are in critical condition, but their injuries are not considered life-threatening. The crash happened this afternoon, and the plane ended up upside down on the snowy runway. Delta Airlines says 80 people were aboard the flight from Minneapolis. They have all been accounted for. Delta CEO thanked the first responders and expressed support for those affected by the crash.
Protesters against President Donald Trump and his policies braved frigid temperatures to demonstrate at rallies corresponding with the President's Day holiday.
Dubbed No Kings on President's Day by the 50501 movement, the latest protest came less than 2 weeks after a similar nationwide event on February.
The protests denounced Trump and billionaire advisor Elon Musk. Nearly 1,000 people marched in the snow from the State House in Boston to City Hall, chanting, quote, "Elon Musk has got to go," and, quote, "No canes on President's Day." Organizers of today's protest said they were targeting, quote, "anti-democratic and illegal actions of the Trump administration and its plutocratic allies."
From the sweeping executive orders to abrupt policy shifts, the current administration has embarked on a path that many believe undermines the cores of our country.
The rallies followed a series of Trump executive orders and came just days after layoffs across federal agencies as part of an effort to reduce the government workforce. The group previously held nationwide protests on February 5th.
Hundreds of Palestinian detainees and prisoners were released Saturday in exchange to 3 hostages.
Buses carrying detainees entered Gaza from Kerem Shalom into Rafah, taking them to a hospital in Khan Yunis afterward.
Some of the detainees told CNN they were subjected to torture and abuse. CNN has approached the Israel Prison Service for comment. It previously said it, quote, "operates according to the provisions of the law," end quote.
A shipment of heavy bombs from the United States has arrived in Israel after President Donald Trump's administration lifted a hold on the deliveries. The new administration's release of the heavy bomb shipments rolled back one of the few Biden-era policies meant to exert leverage on Israel during its war in Gaza. Former President Joe Biden had restricted the delivery of the 2,000-pound bombs out of concern they could be used by the Israelis' military in densely populated areas of Gaza. Despite causing tensions between Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the move did not portend any major changes in the war.
The Trump administration is ordering all educational institutions to not consider race a factor in student life.
The Education Department sent out a letter Friday to schools that received federal financial assistance. That includes preschools, elementary, secondary, and post-secondary tuitions.
The letter warns schools will lose their federal funding if they treat a person of one race differently than another person of a different race. The new policy aligns with the Supreme Court's ruling in 2023 that overturned a long-standing precedent on affirmative action. The letter also criticized diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, saying such programs frequently give some racial groups preference and teach students that certain racial groups bear moral burdens that others do not.
And speaking of school, it's been really cold walking lately to my classes. My fingers are freezing. It's just too cold out here.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm like 90% sure I saw a polar bear outside my dorm window when I woke up this morning.
Yeah, probably drinking Coca-Cola because it's so cold. But we're going to have it outside the atrium.
Thanks, guys. Hey, there's no way around it. It is frigid outside today. The Arctic wave has arrived here in Muncie and Delaware County. Over the past 24 hours, we've seen double-digit temperature decreases here in our viewing area. And that means tomorrow morning, too, if you are walking to class here, maybe in our arts and journalism building, you definitely want to keep a jacket on. In fact, it's so cold that we're under a cold weather advisory right now. Now, that's one of the newest advisories that's going to be issued by the National Weather Service. Here in Muncie, we're under effect of it until 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. And what's that mean? Well, it's just a way to get you to get on your jacket and to encourage people to cover their skin and take that little bit extra precaution whenever they go outside in these cold temperatures. It's just another way to help keep you safe whenever you go outside. Now, we're nowhere near out of these cold conditions for the rest of the week. As we head into these next couple of days, we're going to continue to see feels-like temperatures in the negatives. On top of that, I've got more chances of snow later on in our forecast. So right now, let me tell you, I've got this jacket on. I'm ready to get back inside. And when I do get back inside, let me tell you, I'm going to have a lot more to help keep you guys safe. As we talk about cooler conditions and snow returning later this week. Guys?
Thank you, Ian. Looking for something new to do this weekend? Escape Muncie has over 8 different themed escape rooms. From the circus to the Caribbean, there is something for everyone. NewsLink Indiana's Lily Taveras has more.
Escape rooms can be a great way to challenge your problem-solving skills. Escape Muncie challenges their guests' minds with various different escape room themes, including Pirates of the Caribbean, Safari, Circus, Classroom, Castle, and more.
In general, escape rooms can be such a good way to connect and just get those wheels turning, and it's a whole different level of thinking when you're able to introduce someone else's brain into the room.
Escape Muncie is not only providing entertainment for us, but also providing support for Jamaica. The owners, Jen and Bruce, donate their company's proceeds to Journey Home Jamaica. This organization provides resources for people in need on the island. They provide food, clothing, housing, education, and more.
It is meant to help both fund and feed families as well as provide resources. They often will gather up backpacks full of materials here or different toiletries, things like that, and then go over there and help distribute it and help with the kids and families in needs in Jamaica. So our proceeds that don't go to obviously keeping our lights on go towards funding that and helping provide those things for the children and families over in Jamaica.
With their commitment to giving back, every game played helps support those in need through Journey Home Jamaica. It's a win-win for both your mind and the community. Your next exciting adventure awaits at Escape Muncie, and so does the opportunity to make a difference in the world. In Muncie, Lily Taveras, NewsLink, Indiana.
To book a room or learn how to help, visit their Facebook page at Escape Muncie.
Coming up, One Children's Hospital is offering gendered care, what this means for youth in Charlottesville.
And a new vaccination has been issued to chickens, how this aids the fight against bird flu.
Hey, boss. Okay?
I said I'm fine.
Me the bed, see you in the morning with the frosted Superman, but it wasn't on it, and we lost it.
You can talk to me.
It's been really, really hard for me.
Hey there, Hoosiers. Are you ready to give your child a head start on their future? Indiana 529 savings plans are a simple way to save for their education. Plus, there are some great tax benefits. The best part? It's not just for college. Indiana 529 can be used for tech schools, trade programs, apprenticeships, and more. Start with just $10 a month at myindiana529.com to help them reach their dreams.
I've always loved space and football. Growing up, some people told me I had to choose. But here's the deal. You can be great at more than one thing. And getting involved in STEM opens up your world to a universe of opportunities in life.
This is my time.
Get inspired and get involved today. There are STEM programs and science centers available in your community, so be sure to check out spaceforall.us to learn more and get started.
This is my time. There ain't no doubt in my mind.
Find your place in space.
This is my time.
Space for all.
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me and I love it.
Welcome back. A protest was held Friday outside of the Stonewall National Monument in New York.
The mob was voicing opposition to the Trump administration's removal of references for transgender and gay people from the monument's website.
The Stonewall Inn is considered where the LGBTQ+ movement started and until recently had its own section on the website. The Trump administration has repeatedly demanded that the federal government only recognizes two genders, male and female, and has ordered that federal funds will not be used to, quote, promote gender ideology. A federal judge did temporarily block the administration's effort to restrict transgender health care for people under 19 years old.
And once again, people under the age of 19 can come to UVA Health for transgender care.
A reversal leaving some in Charlottesville's trans community, like Senlin, means feeling in limbo. Maggie Glass has the story.
Once again, people under the age of 19 can come to UVA Health for transgender care. A reversal leaving some in Charlottesville's trans community, like Senlin, means feeling in limbo.
This decision to start again, while sure, that's what we want, it makes us really have doubts that they will stand strong in support of us the next time.
The Children's Hospital halted care in late January to comply with an executive order signed by President Donald Trump. It sparked protest on the hospital's doorstep. Lillian DiCostanzo was one of the protesters there that day advocating for trans youth.
It really just dramatically improves their quality of life.
According to its website, the hospital offers puberty blockers and hormone therapy to minors. Mean says taking away this kind of care for youth has long-lasting implications.
You feel like your community is saying that you and only you can't get it because you don't deserve it. That's in itself devastating.
UVA Health's reversal is not a long-term commitment. In a statement to 29 News, it wrote in part, UVA Health will continue to monitor legal developments in this case and provide our patients with the best care possible under Virginia and federal law. In Charlottesville, Maggie Glass, 29 News.
The Agriculture Department has issued a conditional license to a company to produce a bird flu vaccine for chickens. The vaccine maker is Zoetis. Last Friday, the government gave the company a conditional license. Other countries already vaccinate their birds against the virus, but the United States has taken a different approach and has tried to eradicate avian flu instead. That strategy may be shifting. Workers have killed more than 150 million birds infected or exposed to the virus since the latest outbreak in 2022. That has led to higher prices for eggs and an egg shortage around the country.
When it comes to bird flu, the CDC says the threat to general public remains low, but some have worries about the safety of the food supply. It's being closely watched, a newer strain of bird flu called D1.1, which has been linked with 2 severe human infections in North America, including 1 death. Right now, the danger of the virus spreading to the food supply remains low, although raw milk should be avoided. Cooking will help reduce the chances of virus spread in eggs and poultry products.
Hey, it's cold outside right now. Ready to find out more? When you're looking behind me, you see down behind me, these single-digit temperatures will continue later on.
People want to define Gen Z, but that's our job.
I wait tables, but last week I built a field hospital. I put out a forest fire. I stopped 1,000 attackers.
And a natural disaster.
I've saved lives and led a team on patrol.
I serve.
Well, I go to school full-time while I work full-time.
The greater the challenge, the stronger we become.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 Americans are sick of the divisions in our country? But there's one small step we can take to remember that we're still connected. All over America, strangers with different political views are coming together to talk about their lives, not politics, and discovering they actually have a lot in common. Because even if we don't see eye to eye, we can still talk, heart to heart. So let's talk, for a change. Learn more at takeonesmallstep.org.
Did you hear?
Todd's in the hospital.
Who's Todd? He got a collapsed lung from vaping. He thought it was cool.
Not cool.
Promise you won't vape, Emma. It can lead to a lifelong addiction, and we can't be friends if your lungs collapse.
Bogus.
Wacky sitcom teens aren't the best people to talk to your kid about vaping.
Hey, you got a minute?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Hey, welcome back. Boy, am I happy to be back inside, but I know you're not too worried about me right now. I know what's catching your eye. If you look right behind me, I know you're looking at this snow out to our west, out towards Champaign and southeast Indiana. I'll let you know right now, it's not going to reach here in Muncie and Delaware County. The main thing you're going to worry about in the sky right now is just these mostly cloudy skies covering most of our county. We all know it was a really cold day today, though. You'd be surprised to hear that today's high was 26 degrees. It certainly didn't feel like that, though, due to some sustained winds making us feel a lot colder. Our average high is 40 degrees for this day. And, man, would I have loved to have that record temperature of 66 degrees today. That's just not the kind of weather we're dealing with right now. This Arctic mass pushes south and into the Midwest. We've had a huge 24-hour temperature change. -9 degrees over the last 24 hours here in Muncie, down 11 in Kokomo, down 15 in Fort Wayne. We're going to continue that trend into this evening, of course. Our low for the evening is going to be a big, bold 4 degrees. Mostly cloudy skies, some light winds up to 10 miles per hour coming from the northwest. And those winds are not going to be really that strong over the next couple of days, only 10 to 15 mile per hour sustained winds, but that's going to be enough to make us feel a lot colder and keep those feels-like temperatures in the single digits and in the negatives. Let's look at them behind me. So Tuesday, as we head throughout the day, we're going to hover in those single digits, even potentially double-digit negative conditions up towards Marion, Tuesday at 7 a.m. We're going to peek into those positives just for a moment on Wednesday. As we head throughout the rest of the day, finally, we'll start to warm up, not quite reaching 10 degrees here in Muncie. Thursday, again, single digits. Pretty similar trend over these next couple of days. Just really frigid conditions and on and off negative temperatures, especially as we head into those evening hours. That's not going to be the only hazard you're going to want to watch out for, though. You can see behind me, we're going to get some snow coming up. Here on Wednesday, I'd expect that snow to start to arrive in the early morning hours. It's going to continue throughout the day, potentially a bit on and off. I have a 30% chance for the day overall. A little bit of it might hang around on Thursday. I only have a slight chance for those Thursday early morning hours. We won't see a lot of snowfall sticking around and hanging out on the ground, but what we do get, of course, with how cold it is going to stay. We're going to get some brief breaks from the cloudiness over the next couple of days. Once we get to Sunday and Saturday, though, that's when we are going to start to get some relief. Behind me, we have the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. So that's early next week. Above average, all out west, likely to see above average temperatures. Average here in the Midwest. That's what that gray zone is. Likely to see temperatures at our average. Again, like we talked about, that's around 40 degrees, and I'd be pretty grateful for that right now. So let's see what that looks like once we head into early next week. 27 on Friday, Saturday 31, crawling up to Sunday as we start next week, 38 degrees, 42 on Monday, another chance of snow showers. I'm ready to be done with this cold, and I'm just happy to be here in the studio right now.
Yeah, you know, this cold weather really took me by surprise. I remember, like, it feels like it was just yesterday when we were in, was it like the 60s and 50s? You know, I was able to wear a t-shirt to my classes.
This weather switch up is crazy. I just want the warm weather soon. I'm tired of the winter.
Yeah, it's behind us at this point, unfortunately.
All right, well, thank you, Ian.
Thank you.
There's lots more to get to on NewsLink Indiana. Josiah Veen has a preview of sports.
Thanks, Wyatt and Amelia. The USA took on the neighbors up north, and a new club ramps up for the season. All this and more next in sports.
Be right there. Wait. Use the shovel and bucket of water, remember? Drown, stir, drown, feel. Then make sure it's cool.
Where'd you learn that?
SmokeyBear.com. Brushed up on some tips before we left. Don't want to start a wildfire, right?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Students who can read by the end of 3rd grade are 35% more likely to graduate. I'm Dr. Katie Jenner, Indiana Secretary of Education, here to tell you how reading 30 minutes per day can improve the trajectory of a child's life. Whether you're reading with your child or they are reading independently, this is one of the most important things you can do to help them succeed. So this school year, please encourage your child to continue reading. It's a small habit that makes a big difference.
Food isn't just fuel to live, it's fuel to grow. My family relied on public assistance to help provide meals for us. These meals fueled my involvement in theater and the arts as a child, which fostered my love for acting. The Feeding America network of food banks helps millions of people put food on the table. When people are fed, futures are nourished. Join the movement to end hunger, and together we can open endless possibilities for people to thrive. Visit feedingamerica.org/actnow.
At night, NewsLink Indiana brings you the news before you go to bed. But Friday mornings, you're waking up with Cardinal Weather, bringing you up to speed on the day's top stories.
And giving you up-to-the-minute conditions from the Ball State Weather Center.
And of course, lots of fun.
I gave mine personality. Look, it's got eyebrows.
Ooh.
My lucky glove didn't even work.
But I also am excited for those fall temperatures. Start your Friday mornings with Cardinal Weather, live on the Cardinal Weather Facebook page.
Welcome back to NewsLink Indiana. I'm Josiah viewing the sports. Instead of the All-Star Game, the NHL is hosting the Four Nations Face-Off, a round-robin tournament between Canada, Finland, Sweden, and the United States, with the matchup between the United States and Canada this past weekend. In a matchup that included 3 fights in the first 9 seconds of the game, the United States fell behind early to their Canadian counterparts behind a Connor McDavid goal. That McDavid goal, however, would be the only score by the neighbors up north before an offensive onslaught by the United States. With 3 unanswered goals, the States won 3-1 and looked to face off to secure a spot in the championship. This championship will be a rematch between the two nations on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Ball State has a new club who is trying to build a lasting program. NewsLink's Jackson White has more.
Ball State's lacrosse club is fighting to build something bigger than just a season. They're working to establish a lasting program. After being shut down in 2019 due to COVID, the club was officially restarted last spring, but getting it off the ground has not been easy.
It took a lot of effort. It took a lot of marketing, trying to get players to come out. We had to get a staff member to be our executive. It just took a lot of commitment and a lot of hard work in order to get guys come to get us.
For players like Brady Taylor, who played in high school, the club has been a welcome return to the sport.
I played in high school. I played 3 years in high school. Didn't play my senior year, so I've always loved lacrosse. I just didn't really. My high school team fell apart, and then I met Ronan and Dom, and so they said we're starting a club, and so I came out and started playing. I wasn't going to play on the team at first, but then they kind of convinced me, and so I'm still here.
The team is now in its first competitive season, with games scheduled against Butler, Xavier, Louisville, Western Kentucky, and Bowling Green. But beyond the competition, the real challenge has been recruitment.
We have numbers, they just don't show up at the same time, but numbers seems to be the biggest issue right now, but me and Ronan have a lot of hope, and we're putting a lot of effort into it. We need the numbers and we want the numbers, and we're really trying to grow the sport in the Midwest. So Ball State now has a lacrosse team, so come out if you're interested. We'd love to see you.
With the foundation set, the Ball State Lacrosse Club is determined to make its mark, not just this season, but for years to come. Their next step, taking the field and proving that this new program is here to stay. In Muncie, Jackson White, NewsLink, Indiana.
Bouncing things over to the hardwood, Ball State basketball takes their 3-game win streak on the road Tuesday night. After overtime wins against Eastern Michigan and NIU at home last week, the Cardinals find themselves back at 500 in MAC play. But the Cards will now take their win streak to Savage Arena to take on the Toledo Rockets. Ball State could close to within a game of the Rockets for 3rd place in the MAC with a win, but a loss could put them on the bubble of missing the MAC tournament with 5 games left to play. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. So the Ball State Cardinals are hot right now. 3-game win streak with the final stretch of the season. It's looking good, but the last couple games been a little bit too close for comfort. So we'll see how the rest of that plays out.
Yeah, I agree, but I feel like this just drives their motivation to do well even further. So, yeah, knowing that They're at that 500 mark. I feel like that's just going to push them to want that win even more.
Yeah, and they're so close to third place too. I think they're really going to try to bring it together for the Toledo game coming up. So it'll be exciting.
Yeah, they just need to be the 8th best team in the MAC to make the tournament. So it's looking good so far.
Yes.
Well, thank you, Josiah.
Thank you. Coming up, Evan Schatz has your campus coverage.
And we have a final look at weather after the break.
Yarr! All I wanted was my treasure, and I wound up with a lawsuit from my neighbors, and a belly full of regret.
Thanks, Salty Pete. What a powerful dig story. Okay, great class, everybody. Before we go, let's stand and say the safe digging pledge. Shovels don't know right from wrong, but I do. And I'll always contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before digging. It's the only way to dig.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What?
I can't drive.
Why?
I'm high.
Oh.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome back. My name is Evan Schatz, and this is your campus coverage. Today wrapped up the week-long silent auction for the interior design students. The silent auction, lasting from February 10th through the 17th, was a chance for the interior design students to display their choice of furniture. Upon completion, those items were put up for bidding either in person or online. The total amount raised was over $1,000, all of which will be sent to fund materials for a final project aimed toward a lobby renovation of the Department of Child Services. Assistant Instructor of Interior Design Cynthia Hunter says whether students had great or bad experiences with the project, a great appreciation for design work was made along the way.
I had several students say, wow, this is so fun, I'm going to do more pieces. I had several students say, I am never doing this again. This was such hard work and a lot of time spent on little details of things. So everybody learns an appreciation for a different aspect of what they do as a designer.
After this project, students will begin the work of pitching different design ideas for the late summer project. All unclaimed furniture will be sent to the local women's shelter. If you still need to claim your furniture, you can email Hunter at cjhunter2@bsu.edu. Going over to, the Applied Technology building, just seeing all of the good, the different furniture. It was really cool to see.
Yeah, well, thank you so much,
Yes.
Evan.
Got
Let's take a final look at our weather for tonight with Ian.
Well, I wish I didn't have to keep giving such dour forecasts with cold conditions and cloudy skies, overall dour mood. Unfortunately, we're going to see more snow on Wednesday and Thursday. Light chance of snow, 30%. We do have a light at the end of the tunnel, fortunately. We got to get through this week. It's going to be 31 on Saturday. Once we get to Sunday, 38, closer to our average of 40. Getting to Monday, 42 degrees, above our average for this time of year. Another chance at that snowfall early next week. We got to just get through this week, guys. It's going to be warmer, I promise.
Yes, let's hope so. Thank you so much, Ian. That's all tonight for NewsLink Indiana. Be sure to tune in tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the NewsLink Indiana Facebook page and YouTube channel.
And for news anytime, anywhere, just go to ballstatedaily.com. Have a great night and stay safe.